Okay, this is going to be a little night scene that's going to be a campfire. And for campfires, we start with a bit of yellow and just a few loose brush, watery kind of brush strokes. You're going to make like a pine cone shape. And then we're going to just touch it a little bit in some random spots with a bit of this red. And we'll let that kind of sit. And if we mix up a little bit of red and purple and yellow, get a nice brown here, and put the logs in. If you do a little circle like this with another circle inside it, then that gives it the look like a cut log. So there's our circles. Now that this is kind of dried a little bit more, I can go back into this red and put a few more kind of red highlights on it up here. I think watercolor is a lot about just layering time effects, because this paint is gonna act really differently a couple seconds after it's on the paper. It's a lot to do with how the paper is absorbing it. Okay, and you don't want to be too precious with it, or it's just gonna start looking like a pine cone. And now comes some dark, little bit of, it's the contrast too that's really gonna pop things. So if we put in some dark night sky all around here, with a really wet painting, you don't want to get too close to your flames, or it's going to start looking gray and green. And this is where it's nice to have a big brush too, because you could cover a whole lot of area. And in the dark kind of night sky, this color here is called Almost Night. And it's good for nighttime, it's almost night color. But for our painting, I think we're gonna have to bump it up a little bit. So I'm gonna lay in this color here, and I'm gonna leave a bit of white space above the fire there, and that's for a bit of a lick of flame that's gonna kind of showcase up above. So here's that night sky coming in, and if I add a little bit of red in here, I'm gonna get a nice deep dark night color. Anytime you can add a little bit more color and kind of just practice with mixing, that's really good ways to give your paintings depth and visual interest. You don't need a lot of colors to mix them together and get some pretty neat effects. So it's kind of taking effect here. I'm gonna get a little bit of green and just put a bit of context in here. Place our campfire right on the ground. And same thing here. If I'm laying in a block of green, you want to have the green color move from one either dark to light or light to dark. You could have the color just kind of stretch out from itself in the water, or you could add another tone in there. This is a good kind of painting too, that you could add a little bit of salt in there and that would make little stars. If you don't have salt, you can just add little water droplets, and you see how the water pushes the other pigments away. It's gonna make a neat little effect as it dries. And now that that's a bit drier, I could probably drop in with a kind of a dry brush so it doesn't go everywhere. Just put a bit of color in there, a little spark of the campfire. And that's how to paint a tiny campfire.